Oh, I see what you did. Okay. Welcome to week 2 of crazy Crackpot Sports. Forgot which station I was on. Crackpot Sports weekly recap. We had some exciting games today, I thought, in the NFL.
Yeah, there might be one game that was all right.
One game that was all right. Yeah. But I thought I wanted to start with last Monday night's game between the Broncos and the Seahawks. I don't know what you thought about the game. It's the first time I ever watched the Manning brothers do a game, and they had Shannon Sharp on in the fourth quarter, and they're just going, "What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing?" And I was saying the same thing: call timeout, call timeout. You got to go for it. Yeah, but no, not. Go ahead. Well, Nathaniel Hackett, the new coach of the Broncos, elects to kick a 64-yard touchdown. I mean, kick a 64-yard field goal. Hey, Janet.
He was setting up for like the 64-yard field goal, like the play or two before. Like, he's like, all right, run down the clock.
Yeah, I just didn't get it. I'm like going, okay, 60, and okay, let's be honest. He had the leg. It was far enough, but you traded all those picks and paid all that money to get Hall of Fame quarterback Russell Wilson. You got to put it in his hands. I just didn't. I was struggling with the play calling. Unfortunately, Nathaniel Hackett, I know he's only had 2 games under his belt with today's game. He looked like Norv Turner when the clock was running out, and Phillip Rivers would be looking to the sideline. Give me something, and he'd be like, he just like had no answer. They had 2 delay games.
Yeah, it was even worse today because they got down to 40. He was trying to decide between whether to go for it or kick a field goal, and then he ends up getting a delay game and having to punt. So neither of those options.
I think what he needs to do, he's the offensive, he calls the plays. He needs to hire himself an offensive coordinator. He's got too much on his plate, and he's just too inexperienced to manage the game on both sides. To me, I just was like going, what are you doing? And then, of course, they didn't kick the field. Go ahead.
Luckily, the crowd's going to help him out from the rest of the season. They're going to count down on the clock when it gets down to 10 seconds.
That was great. 4, 3, 2, 1. They're not going to do that for him they might if they play the Chargers. They'll do it. They'll take over a few stadiums. But it's like, oh my God! It was just I just was so frustrated watching that game. Going, what are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, the defense shut the Seahawks out in the second half, didn't they? If I remember correctly.
Not sure.
I thought it was 17-6 or 17-3 going in at the half or something like that. But either way, I was like, oh my God. But anyway, that was just crazy. And then we had the Thursday night game this week, and Justin Herbert of the Chargers looked like he was about ready to die, and they kept putting him back out there. Now, I don't know. You have, it's early in his career. It's his 3rd year, but he looks like he has all the tools to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Why are you? I mean, I know it's a division game. I know it's the Chiefs, and but you were down by 10. At some point, you got to go, okay, let's just take the L on this one and see what's wrong with our future our star quarterback and not have him get more. Because on the one play, it was third and
3 or something.
Yeah, and he had an easy run for it, but I know what he was thinking. He couldn't get to the sidelines, and it probably would hurt like hell to slide
or get tackled or anything.
Yeah, so he's like going, okay, I'm just going to – and he threw it away.
But then he comes back with the next play and does that amazing 21-yard dart.
Yeah, that's all adrenaline. I mean, he's young, he's strong. And I found out, it turns out he had fractured cartilage. And I'm like going, because I've learned most of my medical terms from sports. Mm-hmm. I got to be honest, either I've never heard it before or never paid attention to it before, but I've never heard of fractured cartilage. I've heard of torn cartilage, but not fractured cartilage.
Well, luckily the Chargers have the best doctor in the NFL. The one that punctured Tyrod Taylor's rib or lungs last year and is being sued for $5 million right now.
Yeah, because he should sue. He almost killed him. But it just, I said, I don't know about people in the chat or people listening that are going to listen to this later on. There is no way there's no way I keep putting Rivers. I keep putting Herbert out there, and they're saying it could take 3 to 6 months to heal properly, and they said the only time it heals is when you're not doing anything. It's really you have to sit around and do nothing. Now he's going to be playing the NFL and having 300-pound guys falling on top of him.
Good luck to him.
I don't know. I mean, is he because Rivers? People always go, well, Rivers sucked towards the end of his career. It's because he took such a beating for like 5 years in a row. he was injured. He kept playing. Rivers probably should, because he played every game. He probably should have said, okay, I need to take a couple games off to heal up and feel better. But he didn't. He played every game. I'm sure Herbert has that mentality. And I give him credit for going back in there, but I think it was unwise. But that's just my opinion.
And also on top of that, Rivers had to go home and deal with like 10 kids, like jumping on him, beat him up.
Yeah, exactly. Rivers had a rough life. Luckily, he made a lot of money to make up for it. But and then we also had Trey Lance today. Broke his ankle. Out for the season.
Sucks, but luckily they worked out that deal with Garoppolo and they had him ready to go.
Yeah, where would they be without Garoppolo if they had let him go?
Yeah, because the backup quarterback that they had, I never even heard his name.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. But it's funny. When I saw the replay, I thought he had a head injury. The way he was, I couldn't tell how he got hit. It was hard to see, and I go, oh, that's a concussion or something like that. But then when they carted him off, and I heard later on he broke his ankle, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they showed like close-up angle later where you can see like the right ankle was like a little turned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you probably don't want to see that.
No, it's better. I don't see things like that. I'm a little squeamish, but they pulled out. Garoppolo didn't have a great game statistical-wise, but he did what he normally does. He manages the game and doesn't get turnovers and just allows the 49er defense, which is amazing, they scored enough points where the defense is going to hold teams, usually in single digits. So that's it. And then we go to your team, the Miami Dolphins versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I was going back and forth between games, and I said, and at one point they were down by 21?
Yeah, it got down to 35-14. So at that point, I'm like, all right, I'll keep the game on TV, but pay attention more to red zone. So then they score another touchdown. You're like 35-21. You're like, all right, 14 points. It's like a lot of time left. Then it was like 35-28. You're like, all right, we got a lot of time now. And then it's like Tyreek Hill just like kept flying down the field, getting wide open, and
he had a play in the fourth quarter where he caught the ball, he runs backwards. I go, "What are you doing? You had the first down," and he ended up getting like 10 yards after that. I'm like, going, he is so damn quick.
Well, he just knows he's quicker than everybody. So you could be like cocky like that, and you're like, all right, I could risk it. But yeah, that was shocking and amazing comeback. Yeah,
and Tua, I put on Twitter, are we done calling him, taking the bus tag off him, because he's actually pretty good. I mean, he's played very well. And of course today, what do you have? He was 36 for 50, 6 TDs, 2 interceptions, 469 yards.
And just in the second half, it was like 24 of 30, five touchdowns, 319 yards.
Yeah, I mean he's not the bust everybody was saying he is, and people are going, "Oh, he's just a guy. He's not carrying the team." I go, "Yeah, but that's not what the question is. The question is he a bust?" And people, I'm not saying he's because a lot of Charger fans, they're like, "Oh, he's not better than Herbert." Nobody said he was better than Herbert. It's just he's a better quarterback than we gave him credit for.
And right now he's 8-1 versus Super Bowl winning coaches, which is the highest percentage ever.
Really? I did not know that.
So apparently it's the rest of this amazing Dolphins team that we had for the last 3 years. He's like the Trent Dilfer that just gets by.
Nice. I think he's better than Trent Dilfer. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But Jackson had a good game. He had 318 yards passing, 3 TDs, and 119 yards rushing, and a rushing TD. So you can't blame Jackson on it.
He had a perfect quarterback rating first half, had the 12th triple-double of his career, like over 100 yards rushing, over 100 yards passing.
Yeah. I know we said last week if he stays healthy, they're going to have to pay him. Now people are saying, well, they can tag him, franchise tag him. There's no way he reports on a franchise tag. There's no way.
At that point, that's when you start worrying about a holdout.
Yeah, because there's no way he goes into the season without some guaranteed money up front, and he's risking everything. And they go, "Oh, we're going to franchise tag you. That's great. I'm not coming to camp." So if you're in Baltimore, just expect that if they franchise him, there's no way he shows up to camp.
Well, again, it's also crazy because the quarterback in the same division, Watson, got what, 230 million, 250 million?
Yeah, guaranteed. It's guaranteed.
So Lamar Jackson, who's an MVP, who's had like no off-field issues,
none,
is going to get $100 million less than Watson.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it. I mean, it's so hard. I mean, it's crazy, but you sit there and we're talking about monopoly money, but I don't think I would take it. I'm like you. It's like, okay, wait, you're giving the guy who's been suspended because he had off the field problems, could have easily been suspended the whole year or maybe even 2 years or never returned to the NFL ever again. I've been a model citizen. I've, like you said, won MVP. I've taken my team to the playoffs, and you're not going to give me at least the same amount of money. Like I said, they got a problem because if they don't do something, they're going to be without a star quarterback next season. And then you have the Jets and Joe Flacco come back and beat the Browns. It's like
that was crazy because if you saw like the highlights or whatever, Cleveland went up by like 14 with 1:55 left, and at that point they had a 99% probability to win the game.
Yeah, that's when I stopped watching. I go, okay, this, and then at the end I go, I was doing something else. I think I might have been watching the Padre game too at the same time, and I go, wait, the Jets won? How's that even possible? Flacco, 4 TDs, 0 interceptions.
The ghost of Joe Flacco is still hanging around.
I mean, I give him credit. I mean, I know it's just the Browns, and the Browns aren't meant to ever win. Sorry if you're a Browns fan. It's just the way it is, right?
Yeah, Chubb was having a great day. He had like 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards again.
But it's just like, and Brissett didn't have a bad game. But he gave up. I don't know. And then we go New England, Pittsburgh. Is it the Trubinsky era? Is it over? Is it time to move on from Matt Trubinsky?
I think we talked about it last week. We were like, it's only a matter of time until they give the rookie a chance.
Yeah, I mean,
the hometown kid.
Again, it's not all his fault, but I just don't know. He had 168 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception against New England, whose defense has played pretty well this season.
Mm.
But offense, if you hold a team to 17 points, you should win, right? In today's NFL?
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah, I mean,
most of the high-flying offenses now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it was in the 50s, 60s, even the 70s, where defenses could do anything they wanted to you, break your neck, all that fun stuff. But today you can't touch them, you can't do anything. But and Pittsburgh was at home. But maybe New England's better than we thought they were, but we'll see. And then the Colts get shut out by the Jags. The Colts.
It would have been nice to have Matt come on here and complain about his Colts. But
it would have been nice. I tried, but the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. Now, Jacksonville doesn't have this huge – I've been to a game there. Mm. It's not loud. It's not intimidating. It's not like when you go to Seattle or even Denver or Kansas City, some of those stadiums where it's just – or Green Bay, where it's just so intimidating because it's so loud and you're afraid of it's intimidating. It's Jacksonville. People are sitting in the sun. They're sipping their Mai Tais. They got their feet up. It's a very relaxed atmosphere in Jacksonville. But to get shut out,
Jacksonville just dominated time of possession and kept Indianapolis off the field.
I get it. I mean, I get it. But I thought Matt Ryan would go there and be I thought he'd be it was a good move for the Colts to get Matt Ryan. I thought he still had a few seasons left in him. Is he done? I didn't watch the game. I just saw the stats.
Yeah, it didn't help that his number one receiver, Pittman, was out. So
yeah, I get that. But, but Jacksonville has a pretty good pass rush now. They have Josh Allen, and there's two Josh Allens in the league. But I was just shocked. I was shocked the Colts were shut out.
It was a little surprising.
Yeah.
You expect more from like Jonathan Taylor and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, their first two games were against the Texans and the Jaguars, and they're 0-2. Is it time to look for another head coach? Because they've started out slow the last 3 years. I mean, you have to win these games early. You cannot lose.
But listen to the teams you're talking about. This is the AFC South. This is Jacksonville. This is Houston. This is Tennessee.
Yeah, I know, but Tennessee's still going to be tough, even though they haven't won yet. I don't know. It just is what it is. And the Giants are 2-0. Who had the Giants 2-0 in their Survivor League?
Definitely not me.
Playing well. I mean, they're playing well enough to win. They beat Carolina, and everyone's saying that they want to get rid of, was it Rules, the head coach for Carolina? They're done with him. They've had enough of him.
Already after – this is his third year?
This is third year. Well, he's made some odd decisions as a head coach over the years. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him go. But, I mean, you have Baker Mayfield. I didn't even look at his stats. I just saw that they lost because I didn't see the game. I know they fumbled back-to-back. They fumbled on, I think, a kickoff, and then they got the ball back, and they fumbled again, which led to 6 points. I mean, that didn't help if you fumble the ball.
As the Raiders learned tonight.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Then you had Carson Wentz versus Jared Goff. 2016 or 2015, they were first picks back-to-back, 1 and 2. Actually, they both had really good games today, but Detroit won the game. They beat the Commanders. Pretty exciting, huh?
I did not catch much of that game.
No, I didn't see any of it either. I just saw they won. It's some of those games you just go, I don't know. But Jared Goff had a clean game. Carson Wentz only had 1 interception. Would the Colts have been better just to keep Carson Wentz? Or does it not matter?
Yeah, at this point, is there much difference between Wentz and Ryan?
I guess. I mean, people keep saying, "Oh, Ryan never recovered from the 28-3 Super Bowl meltdown." I mean, I get it, but God. Anyway, we had the Seahawks versus the 49ers. 49ers dominated that game. They didn't have the crowd. They didn't have the crowd on their side in San Francisco like they did in Seattle.
And the game manager's back, Garoppolo.
Yeah, they just dominated the game in every area of the game. And then when you're watching the Rams, I was watching the end of the Rams versus Falcons. When I turned it on, Rams had a good lead. Then there was a blocked punt.
Again, this was like the Cleveland game, Cleveland Jets.
Yeah, and I'm like going, what the hell is going on here? Then they had the fumble and they scored a touchdown. I'm like going, this is just crazy. Just crazy. And then they did stop. Like they got down to the 20-yard line, the Falcons, 15-yard line. Could have tied it up and could have gone ahead. They stopped them. And then the Rams eventually just ran into the end zone, took the safety. And then because they didn't want to take a chance of getting a punt blocked. Which I thought was a smart move because
runs down the clock.
Yeah. I thought the guy could have run down some more time. He ran out of bounds too soon. But
you're like, run to the left, run all the way to the right.
stand there, and then step out if someone's about to hit you. But
Yeah,
Rams hold on.
Yeah, they had, Atlanta had one more chance after that. They had the ball at the 50, and then just Mariota could never get a pass off and got sacked.
Yeah, because on the free kick, dude kicked it out of bounds. Like, kick it down. What are you doing? Anyway, it just football is a funny game. Then you had Denver beats Houston. 16 or 17? It was
the battle of the field goals.
Yeah, it was a close game, and like you said earlier, the guy Nathaniel Hackett couldn't decide whether he wanted to kick a field goal, go for it, field goal, go for it, and you could see Russell Wilson looking at him like going, "Dude, make up your mind. Make up." I think that he needs to let Russell Wilson be Russell. We said this last week. Let Russell Wilson be Russell Wilson. You're holding him back.
Just let him out there call the plays. Like, he's a veteran at this point. He's like, what, 10 years in the league?
10 years in the league. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you're just starting out as a coach. Allow your Hall of Fame quarterback to make some simple decisions. Just go up to the line and it was, I think, 4th and 2, right?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Because right now, Hackett's like the laughingstock of the NFL, and everybody thinks he'll be out after 1 year.
Who's that, Hackett?
Yeah.
Well, if he's not successful, they got a new ownership in there, and they need to win. But they put
just unsuccessful, just embarrassingly unsuccessful.
Yeah, he's had 2 really bad. They should have stuck with was it Fazio? Nick Fazio? What was the name of the coach last year? I can't remember his name, but he was at least a halfway decent. I mean, he didn't make mistakes like that. He just didn't have a quarterback. Nick
Fazio.
I knew it was something like that. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll say, okay, I need to settle down. I need to make quicker decisions. I can't be from the school of Norv Turner with the. Again, I watched Norv Turner for years. It was like, oh my God, I don't even go down that road again.
I think the owner of the Broncos needs to buy him like a Madden PlayStation system, have him start practicing against the clock on a computer, get him ready for these games.
It was crazy. Then we had the Cards versus the Raiders. Now, when I saw the Raiders were up 20-0 at the half, I go, okay, the Raiders got this. Right, they got this game, and then when I turned it on, it was 20-7, or 20. Was it 23-7? Either way, I said, okay, they still got this. And then some of the craziest plays you're ever going to see. Did you see
the 2-point conversion
where it took almost 21 seconds? He's running. Kyler, if you hadn't seen it, you got to find it because it's hilarious. Kyler Murray goes back for the 2-point conversion. They got a penalty, right? To make it 4th and to put it back 5 yards. Didn't they get a delay a game? I could be wrong because it was so confusing at the end of the game.
That was the 5-yard delay game was later in the game when they tied it up.
When they tied it up. So they're down by 9 at this point, right? So they have to get the 2 or 10. They have to get the 2-point conversion to make it a 1-score game, and the 2-point conversion. Raiders are chasing after him. He's running over this way. He's running over that way. He's running everywhere. And eventually he just runs by everybody and gets a 2-point conversion. I'm like going, how do you allow that? I know it's Kyler Murray. I know he's fast. But you have to keep the edge, right? You have to say, okay, you're 30 yards back, because he was at the 30-yard line, wasn't he? He just kept running backwards, and they said he ran 82 yards in that amount of time that they figured out that he ran 82 yards.
Yeah, it looked like Pee Wee football, where one kid's faster than all the others, or a video game.
Yeah, and I'm going, and I said the whole time because I think they scored the touchdown on 4th down too, right?
Right.
And on both times, I said, okay, this is the game that the team that's ahead is going to lose. It always happens that way because the defense was gassed. They were because the offense wasn't doing anything, and so they kept putting the defense back on the field. You have to be productive on offense. You can't just play. It almost like McDaniel played not to lose the game. This is his second go around as coach. He should know better. He should know better, and he served under a coach that doesn't play that way. Right? for 15, 16 years, whatever, how long he was in New England. You don't play to lose. You have to be aggressive. I mean, you don't want to make stupid mistakes, but then they get the 2-point conversion. They get the ball back. Going back and forth, they got lucky with a penalty because they were chasing. I think Max Crosby almost sacked him. Kyler Murray.
Well, he had him like almost wrapped up. Was that the one where he scrambled out? Yeah. But
then it was an incomplete pass or whatever it was. So you're thinking, okay, that's the game. No, there was a holding penalty by the Raiders. Came down, 4th down. Final play was at 4th. That's when they got the penalty, right? No. Yes. Yeah,
because when they tied it up.
I can't remember. And so then they tied it up. Kyler Murray runs it in with no time left. Ties it up, and then they get the 2-point conversion to tie it up. Then it goes to overtime. And Arizona's driving, and it was a good defensive play by the Raiders.
The Raiders where he hit the guy and knocked out.
Is it Hollywood Brown, his name?
Yeah, he had it like in his grasp, but then the hit knocked it out. Yeah,
well, they should have said he just should have right away. He tried to turn and run. He should have just grabbed into his chest and take the hit. But it got knocked loose, so the Raiders get the ball back. They're driving. Hunter Renfrow fumbles one time, but the Raiders recovered the ball. A few plays later, they're almost in field goal range, and he gets popped by Simmons. And was it Murphy picks up the ball, runs it in for a touchdown.
60 yards, 70 yards.
Yeah, and the Raiders lose. I'm like going, I knew they were going to lose. I knew they were going to lose the whole time.
But the guy that ran it back for the defense, he almost made like a sloppy mistake.
Yeah, he almost threw the ball away.
It was like basically 6 inches over the line when he let it go.
That's what took so because they did if you didn't watch the game, they did a replay.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they did they review all. They did a review of the play, and it wasn't a matter if it was a fumble or not. It was a matter if he crossed the line before he's holding it up like this, and he kind of throws it in the end zone. He had just crossed the line. I mean, he just broke the plane, like you said, maybe 6 inches. I mean, wouldn't that have been a brutal mistake because it's touchback?
Right.
Yeah. It's a huge loss for the Raiders because they're in the AFC West. You have Kansas City, the Chargers, Denver, like I said, and you're already 0-2. You had to win that game, especially when you're up 20-0. You can't lose that game. And Raider fans are already asking for McDaniel to be fired. It's a tough coaching in the major leagues in the
in NFL.
Yeah, NFL are just it's a rough life. I mean, it's a rough life
because most games come down to like 3 points or like 1-score games, and
yeah, and if they make a mistake, yeah, the announcer was like he barely got the touchdown, and he did. I was like, at first I got, wait, did he throw that away? And they just showed the angle they showed. I was okay, yeah, he got it, but that was a stupid. I mean, great play. And they're also lucky, too, that Wilson was trying to recover the ball. He would have been down by contact. They're lucky he didn't get control of the ball and it scooted out. And anyway, Raiders screwed up bad. Let's see. I think that might be. Oh, no. We got the Cowboys and the Bengals. Are they back to the Bungles?
I still can't believe how much money they spent on the offensive line and how bad it is.
Yeah, Burrow was sacked 6 times. He was hit. I didn't write down how many times he was hit. I mean, if
13 sacks in 2 games.
If you're Joe Burrow, do you resign? I mean, I know do you sign a huge contract with the Bengals knowing that they can't protect you? He's not going to last.
But you figure out you have to get that offensive line fixed eventually. He's got all the weapons. The running back and the 3 receivers. But
it doesn't do you any good if you can't keep the quarterback up, right? He has 0 time to throw the ball. 0 time to throw the ball. It's like going back, I forgot about the Charger game. The Chargers were just doing whatever they wanted offensively pretty much until their starting center, Corey Lindsey, went out. I didn't know because I was flipping back and forth between the Padres and Thursday night game, and I go, why are the Chiefs all of a sudden getting to Burrow? Well, but you not Burrow, Herbert. You have to have an offensive line. Because If you're not, I don't care who the quarterback is, you're not going to be successful. So he's been sacked. Well, last week it was 8 times.
I think it was 7.
7. So 13 sacks in 2 games. And they spent, like you said, they spent money on the offensive line. They said, okay, we're going to be better this year. We're going to have a better offensive line. No.
So it's on pace for about 100 sacks. Let's see if he holds up.
Yeah, he's already had the knee injuries. I don't know. If I was them, you go to a team that maybe struggling, has a good offensive lineman, and say, here's our number 1 pick. You have to protect your franchise quarterback. If you don't, if he gets hurt and can't play the rest of the year, they'll be back to being. I mean, they're already back. They and they should have won the first week, but they had the bad kicking situation. But I kept watching the game, going, God, he's going to get killed. He's going to get killed. They should put like a red shirt on him so they can't touch him. New rookie quarterback had a good day coaching for once. Anyway, and it was Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush 2-0 as a starter.
Hey, he actually looked pretty decent.
He did look decent. Yeah, the Dallas one. I don't know. That's all I got from week 1. Week 2. What do you have? Anything?
I think that's it. Yeah, it's pretty much all the games.
Yeah. Like I said, they were fun. Like the afternoon games, the 4 afternoon games were boring up until the end. Right? I mean, they were all pretty boring.
That's like most of the NFL, though. First half's like they're always like running the ball, like so conservative, and then it's like the fourth quarter when they know they're within or they're down like by a lot, and they'll just start passing like crazy.
What's the game night? Is it game tonight? Who's playing tonight? Is it the?
Right now, you got the Packers up 24-10 on Chicago.
24-10. Well, that makes sense. Poor Justin Fields. I mean, he has the same situation pretty much as Burrow. Well, he doesn't have the talent around him either, but his offensive line's not very good. That's what sucks when you're a young quarterback and get drafted by teams, because you're usually drafted by bad teams. It's like I go back to Archie Manning. When he was drafted, he was
Saints.
He's number 1 college player. Went to the Saints, and if you're young, you don't remember how bad the Saints used to be. They used to be called the Aints. People originated the paper sack over the head was the Saints, and he just took. He just was, and that was back then where you could just hit like there was no tomorrow. He took quite the beating, and people go, "Oh, he was a bust." Well, bust because he's being torn apart like a jigsaw puzzle. It's crazy. But last week we picked 4 games. We had the Chargers, Chiefs, Miami, B-More, Cincy, Dallas, and Bears and Green Bay. And Green Bay we don't know yet, but we both picked the Chiefs. But we both picked Baltimore. You didn't pick your home team.
I was feeling really good about that pick at 35-14.
Yeah, but you did pick Dallas, and I picked Cincy. And we both have Green Bay. So not a bad week, but you want to do some this week?
Sure. Do you want to add the one from tomorrow night? Philly versus Minnesota is a pretty even matchup.
All right, let's do that one too. All right. Well, the first one we have, let's do that one first. Philly versus Minnesota. I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
If we were doing the spread, I would probably take Minnesota, but since it's at Philadelphia, I'll take Philadelphia and have a different pick.
Oh, is it at Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. You know what? I'm going to stick with it. I'm sticking with my pick. I can't go. Rule number 1: never go back on your pick. If I would have known, I probably would have picked the other way. But that's okay. Next up, we have Miami versus Buffalo. This is tough because we don't know. Buffalo's playing Tennessee. Hopefully, nobody gets injured, but you never know what's going to happen in these games. I'll let you go first. You going to pick the hometown?
Just because of the day they gave me and how exciting it was, I will take another shocker upset. Miami over Buffalo.
Is it in Buffalo?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good time for Miami to play Buffalo because you don't want to play them in the wintertime.
Oh, wait.
Right?
It's at Miami. Sorry.
Oh, it's at Miami.
So that come down and deal with the Miami Heat.
Ooh. I'll take Buffalo just because, I mean, I like Miami. Their defense in the second half played great. Well, much better than they did. It's because it's hard to play against Jackson. Because you have to worry about the run, and he's a better passer now than he used to be. So you have to respect his. When he first came up, you didn't have to really respect his passing ability, right?
Right. He was definitely more of a runner back then, but
yeah,
today he had the 78-yard run, and like a lot of his passes were deep downfield today.
Yeah, and he has touch to it now, whereas before they were floaters. He's worked hard. He's worked hard in his craft, and he deserves it. But Mike takes Miami. Jack takes Buffalo.
Buffalo is favored by 4.5, so you're looking pretty good there.
All right. But again, it's Buffalo. You never want to go play them in like late November, December, and January because people always go, "How did Buffalo win four? How to go to 4 straight Super Bowls?" Because they had home field advantage, and it was always freezing cold there. And any team coming from the West Coast, it's like they always say about Minnesota. Minnesota's biggest mistake was making a dome. Mm-hmm. Because their biggest advantage was it was so damn cold there. Because early on, they went to 4 Super Bowls with Fran Tarkenton.
But then it's a trade-off. Can you imagine if Green Bay would have been playing in dome for like these last like 10, 15 years with Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre? I think it'd be much better to pass in those conditions than in the snow.
But it also helps the other teams too, though, playing in a dome stadium. Because I always said when – go ahead.
You would just think with a good passing game would be better with ideal conditions.
Well, you want to have a strong running game if you have, you want to have a strong run game. People, a controlled offense. I hear what you're saying, but I don't know. It just seems like who knows what? I mean, I know they can get more fans to come to the games if they're not freezing to death. So I know that's a big deal. Because I always said about San Diego. There was no advantage to playing games in San Diego. You go there, the weather's perfect. There's, it's like there's no. If it rained, it hurt the Chargers. It didn't hurt. It usually didn't hurt the opposing team. If it was like a rainy day, that didn't happen often. But if it did, it usually screwed the Chargers over. Remember the San Diego Chargers? They're no longer there. We have the Rams. Yeah, the Rams at Arizona. Is the game at Arizona?
Let's see. It is at Arizona.
At Arizona. I'm going to take the Rams. They look good for 3.5 quarters today.
Yeah, it seemed like they stabilized themselves today. And Arizona is very, very much up and down today.
Yeah.
Like they looked horrible in the first half, and then they just let Kyle Murray do whatever he wanted to in the second half and just run all over.
Well, that's why Kyler Murray got that kind of money. Because he can do things that other players can't do. It's almost like Patrick Mahomes, but he's not Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes has a better arm. Patrick Mahomes is a better player, but Kyler Murray does have where he, like you said, just let Kyler be Kyler and let him run all over the place. And you could tell, like I said, the Raiders defense was like, get us off the field. The Raiders would come on the field and go 3 and out, and you put the defense right back out there again. If I was a defensive player, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, get a first down.
Yeah, I think at one point in overtime when the Raiders came back on the field, they said, this is the first time the Raiders have been back on offense in 30 minutes.
It's true. You could just tell the defense was just – because people say, well, they're athletes. They should be in shape. They are in shape, but you can only do so much. They're 300-pound guys. They're running around, and it takes a lot out of you. It's not like hockey where you can just do a quick, and especially if you're doing hurry up offense. It's not like hockey where you do a line change. You change it up. You can't. I can't run to the sidelines. I'll have too many men on the field. Anyway,
that also happened today with the Dolphins-Ravens game because in the second half, the Dolphins dominated time possession and kept the Baltimore team on the field the whole time, and you could just see that they were worn down. Tyreek Hill would just like run by them wide open.
Yeah, it's like people discard the running game now. They say, "Oh, it's not important." You have to have I still think you have to have a strong running game because you have to wear down the defensive front. Tackling somebody is not, especially if it's a big running back, a solid running back. It takes a lot to take. Like a Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. Are you going to want to tackle him for 4 quarters? No, he's going to wear you down. So you can't exclude the run either. It has to be a combination of both, but it is what it is. And then finally we have Green Bay. Is it at Tampa Bay?
Let's see. It's Green Bay at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Tampa beat the Saints, but it wasn't like it was 20-10.
And even then, like for the most part, it was like 10-3 going into the middle fourth quarter. It seemed like.
Yeah, it was 3-0 at the half. 3-0 Saints at the half.
And I think Winston had like 95-yard passing in the middle of the third quarter or end of the third quarter.
He had 3 picks for the game. His problem is he's just inconsistent. He just will have those games where he just is terrible. He'll have games where he looks pretty good. You can't win with a quarterback like that.
It's just he likes to risk it. He likes to go over the touchdown, but of course it's going to cause you interceptions.
Yeah, and it did. I'm going to take you said it's at Tampa Bay?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to take Green Bay. I think the GOAT could be done. I know what people are saying. The GOAT's not done, but he's got a lot on his mind, a lot of personal stuff going on, and it's not easy to concentrate when your wife is not happy with you. They always say happy wife, happy life, right?
Right.
He's not lying. That's probably the truest statement of all time.
All right, I'll go with the upset here. I'll go with Tampa Bay.
And like Janet pointed out, Tampa Bay is full of injuries. They have a lot of injured players.
Godwin's hurt. Mike Evans might be suspended next week.
Oh, he got in a fight, right?
Yeah, they were showing like the history of him and Lattimore. This is like the 4th or 5th time these guys have gotten in a fight.
So you're saying they don't like each other?
Definitely not.
So you took Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we both took the Rams?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then Janet says Von Miller will get to Tua. He's been playing. I mean, it's funny. I was watching the Dolphins. I forgot that Melvin Ingram is playing for the Dolphins. He made a tackle. I go, oh, that's right. That's where he went. He went to the Dolphins. I'd forgot all about him.
Yeah, he was like a late sign for them too. He's been playing a lot and been a pretty good addition to the line.
Janet goes, Fizzlehoff goes, Jack, your Aztecs will have nothing to worry about playing my Boise State this year. Our defense is decent, but our offense is metal. Obviously, you haven't seen my Aztecs this season. They're just brutally bad. Brutally bad. But that's all I got. Anything else you want to add for this week?
No, that's it.
Maybe one of these weeks we can get Matt to show up. He's not drawing pictures.
Or Chris in Boston to talk about his Patriots.
Yeah. He gets a little upset, doesn't he? He's talking about his Patriots.
If they're good. Or either if they're really good or if they're really bad.
Again, because I pointed out, I do a podcast with him, and I pointed out, I said, hey, I go, what happened to all the Patriots fans? They used to be in your face, all obnoxious, blah, 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 blah. Hated those bastards. But now you don't hear anything about them.
They're like, we got our rings. We know we're not good anymore. We can't be cocky.
What I don't mind. I don't mind, but it's just like, but with the Patriots fans, I had people I know, like family members and stuff like that. I go, you're a Patriots fan? didn't you used to like the Raiders? Didn't you used to like this? They go, oh no, I've always been a Patriots fan. Okay.
Ever since 2001.
Yeah, ever since 2001, I became a dedicated, diehard Patriots fan. And his fizzle off Janet says the Patriots will only get better. I hope so. I mean, I feel for Bill Belichick. I kind of want him to win a Super Bowl just so he can.
Well, I think he froze there, but I definitely hope the Patriots don't get better. So Jack is frozen. So seems like this would be a good time to end the show. So hopefully we'll see you guys next week on Sunday night at 10 o'clock. Until then, for Jack, hasta luego, and goodbye.